Okay, so cash flow management is one another key aspect of our financial planning and our financial life. So, how does this look from a Christian perspective? Of course, if we're talking about being a good steward, it should mean that we're not spending more than we bring in. That is just wise cash flow management, right? That what we have, we're not over living our means. And that can happen, take place before retirement and in retirement. When we get into retirement, cash flow management is creating an income from different sources to replace your paycheck to be able to live in retirement. And go back to the verse in Timothy that talks about providing for your family. That is, in essence, what creating retirement income is, right? Is providing for your family. Now, again, we'll talk more. I have another video just on the Christian's perspective of retirement. But one aspect in cash flow management that I think you have to talk about as a Christian is about giving. I mean, in Malachi, it talks about bringing our tithes into the storehouse. And it's the one place in the Bible where it says this. God says, test me in this. Bring your tithe and offering to the storehouse and let me, in your barns won't be empty, meaning you'll have more than enough. Your needs will be supplied. It's the one time that I can think in scripture where God says to test me. He's really saying it's all his wealth anyway, bringing it back to him, bringing the tithe to him in that time was to acknowledge that it came from him and to be dependent on him. And also, as we mentioned in investing in the kingdom, any work that's happening takes money and resources, whether it's translating the Bible or digging clean wells or having church. Things take resources, right? So giving as a Christian should be part of it. There's plenty of scriptures where God talks about that the generous will be blessed, okay? So if nothing else, we need to at least, in my opinion, give a tithe. But that was really an Old Testament concept to bringing that 10% into God. In the New Testament, in Acts, they gave everything. Nobody was in need in the early church because everybody gave those that are wealthy gave everything and shared, and everyone had equal. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that either, but I think that whether you want to argue on giving a tithe of 10% or just giving, I really think 10% should be the minimum. But as a Christian, we should be giving and giving into God's kingdom. It's not just giving. I mean, everybody wants resources and money. I know we get that all the time. And yes, I support like our local fire department and rescue squad and different fundraisers and sports teams that my kids are all in and that the community's in. I think all those are important things. And I do give to that. But that's not exactly the giving that Christ is asking us to do. It's to also follow and advance his kingdom. My opinion, my tithe, the money that it has to go to somewhere to advance his kingdom. Whether it's our local church or for us, it's a lot of times missionaries in other places. But giving should be part of our cash flow management. And I remember one time hearing someone talk as we were going through a conversation and trying to create a retirement kind of budget, so to speak. And they were right. Well, one of their thoughts was, well, do we have to give up giving to the church? We should never give up giving to God. God will supply our needs, and that should be something I think it's often a test, especially in hard times or changing times. But I think if we make the commitment as a Christian, if we make the commitment to always give where God leads us, he will make sure he supplies it back to us. Okay. As Corinthians says, give with a cheerful heart and it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, meaning more than enough. So when you're thinking about it as, again, from a Christian perspective, giving should be in our equation and it should always be part of our cash flow that we know that we're giving some out to advance his work. It's investing in the kingdom and it's part of our cash flow management. But again, it's also important and to be wise as we're working on this and we're trying to create it, maybe an income plan or retirement plan that we know that God's asking us to be a good steward to manage what he's given us. And part of that is to be able to create an income for ourselves in retirement. And again, you'll watch that retirement video to talk about the next thing that God has for us to do. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll go through all the rest of them and check out what a Christian's perspective on retirement as we go along as well.